Good evening. It's been a while since I've posted a video. I've actually been meaning to do this for quite a while, but life is busy. So this is basically the 2 month update. And I'm just gonna say it right now. I keep looking towards the middle of this camera, even though the camera's over on the other side. So you'll have to bear with me on that one. But so we are home. Aiyana, Leilani, and myself are home, and we're back in the valley, which has been interesting because we are also doing her doctor visits and all that kind of stuff here. So I'll talk about that a little bit. But Aiyana is, I think, 2.5 months now. She's was 2 months on the 21st, so she's a couple weeks over. And Leilani is about to turn 2 on the 8th, which is crazy. And basically, I am just running around like a chicken with my head cut off between these two kids, all of the doctor's appointments, and all the other life stuff that's going on. And things are just wild. I haven't really like settled in. There's not really like a routine. Aiyana's schedule keeps changing and her needs keep changing. So I'll just start with like medical, where we're at with that. So some major things have been going on with her. I haven't really like posted about it much. Honestly, I haven't even had time. But we saw her cardiologist, and she has developed stenosis, and she that was not there during the ultrasounds when she was inside in utero, and started at birth, and it's aggressively gotten worse over these 2.5 months. So basically, what that is like it's like imagine like tree branches, the arteries that actually pump blood out to the lungs, from the heart to the lungs. And we all have the branches. Most people's are a little bit thicker, like more of a normal size, but stenosis basically restricts and makes them really tiny. So the doctor called it a biological banding because they do this procedure called a banding procedure, which is like a stopgap between having open heart surgery, which is another thing that we'll talk about. And it's supposed to, help save someone's life. So this is something that her body has done on its own that's essentially um, saving her life. It's allowing her to be alive right now. They're saying she would not be alive if that wasn't there. But it's a catch 22. Um, because she has such a large VSD, I mean, they use the word gigantic, um, and that has to be repaired eventually. It's going to most likely cause problems. If the medication's not able to manage it, then we go into open heart surgery. But once you repair the hole in the heart, then the stenosis of the arteries becomes a major problem because the restriction that it's doing now is good. It's reducing the flow of the fluid that's coming through because there's a hole allowing so much more fluid than there should be. But once you repair that hole, now you have arteries that are not allowing flow properly. They're restricting flow, which is going to work her heart and eventually lead to heart failure. So we have heart failure if we don't repair her heart, and we have heart failure if we do. So basically, Leilani will not sleep. You'll hear her, she's starting to soothe herself. So basically, we're just going to have to wait and see how her heart responds to the medications and when we get to the point that something has to happen, and we'll make a decision then on what we're going to do. In terms of her heart surgery, I've posted before, but we talked to Phoenix Children's, where we were originally going to move, and they said no. And they said no because of her trisomy 18 diagnosis. And this isn't like anything that we should be surprised about. It's a pretty common medical in the medical community, it's a very common feeling about this diagnosis, but a lot of us believe it's unfair. So we will be moving to Arizona eventually. We're going to be in the valley for a little bit longer, and then I will basically shop around. She's crying. I will basically shop around for cardiologists for her. And the way it's going to work is there's a cardiologist in Omaha, cardiologist in Austin, and a cardiologist in Houston. I think there's one in Boston too. But those cardiologists have all done surgery, open heart surgeries on trisomy patients before. So basically, you have to like shop around her information, get some consults, and see where she gets accepted, and we will go from there on that. Um, Feeding is continuing to be the major problem. So she's still NG tube fed. I have no nursing, so I'm doing everything. I'm doing all the tube changes, everything, all night long. And um, what's happening is I think that she's developed a reflex since the hospital because she didn't really have these problems in the hospital. But she vomits, she chokes, aspirates on the choking, on the vomit. She gags. She sounds like she's underwater, like she's drowning in her lungs while she's being fed. And she cries from start to finish for every feeding and part of after the feeding. And it's worse. It's the worst at night. She does do it sometimes during the day, but she's much more calm and sleepy during the day. And then the rest of the night, it's constant crying, and it's exhausting and really hard to see. So I actually saw a GI today, GI doctor, and they've made some changes. They want to change her to continuous feeds. So that means she's going to be fed milk at a lower volume for the majority of the day. So she'll be fed 20 mLs every hour for 20 hours a day with 4 hour break. And I can decide if I want to do like a chunk of 4 hours or like split that up throughout the day. So I'm going to start that. And then they started her on Zantac about a week and a half ago when she started choking and like wasn't really breathing. She started desaturating. So we started the Zantac. She's on that 3 times a day. And then they're adding Nexium into the mix because the Zantac doesn't seem to be doing the job. And we're also going to do an upper GI study. They put contrast into her tube and then they'll, I think, do an ultrasound or something, and they'll be able to see where the fluid goes to make sure that there's no issues, um, you know, structurally or whatever. So we're going to do that on Monday at the hospital. I guess that's outpatient. And then we will see how she adjusts, how she reacts to all these changes. They wanted to stop my breast milk and change her to Neocate formula. And I was like, oh, hell no. We are not going back on that. They were trying to push calories, push weight gain, all that. And I'm like, no, we're not doing that. We're not going to do that again. It was like the hospital all over again. So those are like her two big things. She is gaining weight, but it's pretty slow. She's 5'12" right now, 5 pounds 12 ounces. She's definitely getting bigger. You can see it, like her cheeks get puffy, and I'll show a video of her eventually. She's sleeping right now though. And everything else we're just kind of waiting. So every week we have like 4 to 6 doctor's appointments. So we see her pediatrician, her cardiologist, now her GI. She has lab work done to test all her electrolytes and everything. That's every week at a separate location. And eventually we're going to get therapies started. So she's going to start to have those: speech, OT, physical, oral. And it's just a lot. I mean, she's doing pretty well. It's just hard because she's not a normal baby. And this is so not a normal situation. It's not like I can just, with my first, I just wore my baby. I went places. I could do newborn schedules and, worry about regular things. And now I can't do that. I can hardly wear her because she's feeding constantly. So she's laying a lot, and I feel bad because I can't always be in the same room with her all the time. I can't go anywhere with her, so we don't leave the house really. I've left a few times when her dad has come and watched them just so I could get out of the house, but that's pretty much it. I have not, we're like hermits right now, and she hasn't left the house. We've gone outside with Leilani just to play, but that's pretty much it. Um, there's no schedule besides like her medication and feeding schedule. Everything is medical. We have her pulse oximeter on all the time, so it tells me her oxygen and her heart rate. So that's beeping all the time. I have medical grade suction because she gets a lot of mucus and stuff going on. I change her tube once a week. Um, I don't know, a lot of medications. It's just a lot of washing and preparation and just a lot of doing stuff all day long. Um, I guess the hardest part of all this, I think, for me is there's just not a lot of time for enjoyment. There's so much time just doing and having to go places like doctors only, dealing with insurance and bills, and I'm still trying to go through the bills from the past month and a half. And that also takes away time from Leilani. I feel like we're just not able to really all enjoy ourselves much. There's just not enough time in the day. And I haven't even started working yet. So I have no idea how I'm going to fit that into it. I get up at 5:30 and I pump and I prep her feeds, and it's like ready, set, go from 5:30 a.m. until I'm able to lay down. At midnight is like her last big medication administering time with the feed. And then we have feeds throughout the night every 3 hours. So 12, 3, 6, 9, and then 12 p.m., 3, 6, 9. So it just keeps rotating. But now that she's going to be on continuous, I don't really know how that's all going to work. I'm supposed to start that, and I don't even know how to do it yet. I know I'm rambling. My brain is just fried. I mean, I get 3 hours of sleep a night, and I'm just running around all day long. I'm not getting everything done that I need to do, and I'm burnt out, super burnt out. So that leads me to the next topic, which is home care. Home care. It's not happening. Home care is not happening. You get discharged from a hospital, and I would have thought, okay, home care would be set up before you leave a hospital. No, that doesn't happen. That's too rational for this world, I guess. No, we have to set it up after you're home, and it's going to take months to get insurance approvals, even though when you're in the hospital, you could get something approved like in a day if you need it. So I don't know what's going on anymore. I don't know if maybe it's because it's the Medicaid. We have Medicaid secondary because our primary insurance doesn't even cover home care. So I don't know what's going on anymore. We had a home care assessment. They submitted it to insurance, and we're just waiting. It's been a while, and we're just waiting. I don't even know if it's going to get approved. If it does get approved, I don't know how many hours. And then the issues I've been told is like once it is approved and you know how many hours, then staffing is a whole other bag of mess. Because a lot of times the agencies don't have the staff that you need, and then you're looking at the quality of it. And I've heard some nightmares. So I originally wanted like a night nurse so I could get some sleep. But after the stories I've heard, I don't think I want a night nurse anymore. I think I just have to figure out how to do this on my own at nighttime and have a nurse during the day to help me just lift the burden of Aiyana. I mean, she's not really that much during the day. The nighttime is when it's really hard just because I'm so tired. But I've just heard such bad stories, and it seems odd to have a stranger in your house while you're asleep. And plus the fact that like Aiyana doesn't have a room, she's in my room. So it's like, what's the nurse going to be in this room with me while I'm sleeping? It's just odd. And I don't know how that's all going to work out. So we'll see. I need to figure that part out. So going back to kind of where Aiyana is, where she's at, I think the interesting part of all this is, so when you have your first kid, you know, you have like all those developmental milestones, and you're like tracking all these things, and you're seeing all the things that they do, and weight and height and head circumference, like all these different things, you know. It's not like that with this baby because she's on her own trajectory. She's on her own chart that's not even on a normal chart. It's like, here's normal, and she's like down here. She's tiny. She's a 2 month old baby, and like she barely lifts her head. Um, I mean, she looks like a preemie still. She's wearing preemie clothes, preemie diapers. She's tiny. She sleeps all the time. She's very sleepy. Structurally, like her head, you can feel all the I don't know what they call it, like all the discs in your head. Most of them come together tight to make a roundness. Hers is actually angular, and you can feel all of the ridges and the spaces and gaps. And we knew that she had some brain issues from the ultrasound, but we don't know the extent of it yet. We still haven't done an MRI, and I'm not really feeling like it's important to do that now. We'll wait if we ever get to that point where developmental stuff starts coming into play. And I try to do tummy time with her a little bit, but it's like you're so busy with the medical stuff, I don't even have time to do stuff like that. I don't have time to sit and take pictures of her, and like I forget to take her monthly photo, and it's just a different world, completely different time having a baby. Um, Leilani has acclimated really well. I was a little worried about like jealousy since I knew my time was going to be so monopolized by Aiyana, but she's done so well. Like I'm actually really surprised, and she loves Aiyana, just loves her. She just wants to like hug her and kiss her and like pet her head and pull her blanket on her, and she's so sweet. It's really really cute. And that also, like, it's kind of double-edged sword because I see her getting attached to her, and as she gets older, I just wonder when Aiyana does pass away how this is gonna affect her. I can't even comprehend like losing your sister and not having that person for the rest of your life, especially since now it's kind of like she's going to be an only child when that happens. And that is not what I wanted. I did not want to have an only child. But I'm clearly not having any more kids. You know, my marriage is on its way out, so that season is closing, and I guess it's just one of those things we're gonna have to deal with when we get there. But it's sad. It makes me very sad to think about it, and a lot of this is just, it's hard and it's sad, and I'm trying to find joy in any moment I can find it. I'm trying so hard because it really is a struggle for me day to day. I think a lot of the external stuff going on in my life definitely is sucking up those moments for me right now. But and I think the exhaustion, the tiredness is really getting to me too. It's hard to be sleep deprived for such a long time. Um, and still have to like take care of so many responsibilities during the day and then deal with all the other stuff too. But I am doing it. I get up every day. I read my devotionals. I'm on a pumping schedule still. I'm eating and drinking water and trying to take care of like the basics for myself. Trying to do something for myself every day, no matter what it is something small. Um, trying to spend as much time with Leilani as possible, but I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot of TV time right now, and that makes me sad because we never watched TV before. But it's just the transition is what it is. We're just I'm doing the best I can, so I have to remember that. So we're back in the valley. I'm back in our house. We have listed our house, and I don't know why I always look. I'm so sorry, guys. I always look at the time. I don't know why. So we listed our house, and the agreement is basically that I'm going to stay in our house until it sells, or basically, if it doesn't sell by spring, I'm going to move. And I will move to Arizona. I'm going to probably move right outside of Tucson, I think Marana area. And that will be, I think, an hour and a half away from their dad. And that's the reason I'm moving to Arizona, is for their dad. And so they can have visitation. We're working out divorce terms right now. All that stuff will get filed. And then life is gonna just keep changing and keep moving. Once we're in Arizona, I have to start looking into like the referrals I've gotten on pediatricians and cardiologists and all these different things. But Phoenix Children's Hospital was originally where I was going to have her care. That's about, Marana is kind of like equidistant between where their dad is going to live and Phoenix. That's why I was kind of in the middle. But I don't, after having the conversation with them and them denying her based on her diagnosis, I just don't know. I don't know if that's the best choice anymore. So I'm going to keep looking at places and see what we need to do when we're in Arizona, like who would be the best fit for her. And then for maybe like emergencies, we'll go up to Phoenix if we need to. But basically, for her heart surgery, we would have to go to wherever we're going to go. Let's say it's Austin. Would have to relocate to Austin for that time period, and then the open heart surgery recovery is minimum 2 weeks if like nothing happens in recovery. So basically, we'd have to just be there for a while, or Omaha or Houston or wherever. So we'll just figure it out. I'm gonna keep figuring out each thing step by step. I'm trying to just simplify everything. We gave away our dog, thankfully to a good friend of mine, so I know he's in a good home, but I couldn't take care of him. It was too much work. We still have the cat, but that's because I don't think anyone will adopt a cat, and he's pretty self-sufficient, so I'm just going to keep packing and get us ready to move as soon as possible, and hopefully this house will sell. Divorce stuff will go through. Things will start to settle a little bit. I'm really hoping that things will figure out what's going on with Aiyana, because the pain that she's in is just so bad. And I would really love to figure that out. And we're just going to keep tracking her heart and her medications and just try to stay ahead of the heart failure. And once we get to that part where the heart failure is not being contained or managed, then we have to make some decisions. That's pretty much it. I think in terms of Aiyana's developmental stuff, I really need to start like focusing more on that, I think. Because I'm really bad. I don't even like do the massages. I mean, there's just not enough time. And I'm one person and I'm split in so many directions right now. So, yep, that's what's going on. So that is 2 months. We're almost at 3 months, and it's kind of amazing if you think about it. It's kind of amazing that she's alive. It's not even kind of amazing. It is amazing. I think I'm downplaying it a little bit. It's amazing. Everybody said she was not going to be alive. I mean, every week every single week of my pregnancy, I was told that she's going to die. The neonatologist, because the neonatologist that we chose for the labor was out of town, so we ended up getting just like a random. The neonatologist came in the room while I was in labor and was like, "What's the point? She's going to die." It's just like, it's common. It happens all the time. I hear it all the time. Her pediatrician the other day asked me why, basically, why, like, I continued the pregnancy even though I knew about her diagnosis and what that means. Like, maybe I was being sensitive to it, but it seemed like there was, like, contempt or whatever into it. Like, why would I do that? So, I don't know. It's constant. But I will say, I think at the same time, because I'm in all my trisomy groups and I see people's kids who are alive, much older. I mean, there's people as old as 30 in there, um, but a lot of younger kids. And then there's a lot of people who have lost kids too, kids who have been alive and babies in utero. And it's like survivor's guilt or something, I think. Sometimes when I see the ones that didn't make it to birth, I feel guilty. I don't know why. I feel guilty. I know why. I feel guilty because I feel like I'm not cherishing her as much as I could or can because I'm just so bogged down with so much stuff. And I feel guilty about that because I should be like ecstatic every day. I should be soaking up every moment with her because this is what we wanted. I'm getting what I wanted, what I prayed for. And I don't think I'm taking it for granted per se, but I feel like maybe to somebody else it might seem that way, and that's probably where that guilt comes from because I think if their child made it to birth, they would be just living in every moment with them. But they're not in my situation, and I guess that's the other side of it is they're just not in my situation, and my situation is difficult and it's a lot and it's heavy and I'm processing still and trying to sort things out and make sense of all this stuff. And I'm about to lose my identity as a wife, and I don't know what that means now. I don't, I'm starting to like have to refigure out who I am and where I thought I was going and what my life was going to be like. Everything is like flipped upside down on its head right now. And at the same time, I still need to figure out how to be friends with this person and be kind, um, so that we can parent our kids well. Because I am a child of divorce and I'm sure as hell not going to put my kids through what my parents put me through. It was hell. And I don't want that for my kids. I didn't want any of this. I never would have gotten married had I known this is what was going to happen. But hindsight is 2020 always. So I don't know. It's just crazy. Life is really, really crazy how things happen and how things just sort out. And I know I'm going to look back on all this time and, I'm still going to be like, holy crap, this was the most insane thing I've ever gone through. But I feel like there's going to be more of like a path. It will make more sense later. Right now, I'm just kind of like aimlessly trying to figure things out and not doing a great job at it. Um, but that's what they say. You do the best you can. That's all you can do. So, yeah, I think that's it. I know I have no energy. My brain is scattered, and I'm pretty like Debbie Downer right now. So, it probably wasn't a good time to do a video, but I knew if I didn't do it now, I wasn't going to do it. I've been trying to get this done for a really long time. So, that's basically what's going on. That's 2 months. We will keep you guys updated. I was going to try and do a day in the life video to kind of show you like all the different stuff we do every day. But as you can imagine, that's very difficult to do with the schedule right now. So um, I'm going to figure out how I can do that. Maybe it's just writing it or something like that. So we will see. But if you are one of our friends or family that are watching this and you're local, I just want to let you know because I think people are scared to ask, but we want visitors. We would love to have visitors, but you have to basically meet the criteria of you are not sick, your kids are not sick, your family is not sick, and you have not been around anybody who is sick. And all of this has to have not happened for a week, at least a week. So, if you fit that criteria, let me know because we are going stir crazy in here and there's only so much Netflix we can watch. Okay, well, thanks for listening and watching and all your support always. And I'll keep you updated. Have a good night.